Well, good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're to in the world. And as I told you, some of you who watch the YouTube videos and you who watch me do from the kitchen, well, I'm not doing from the kitchen this morning, I'm doing from Galilee. And right behind me, as you can see, is the Sea of Galilee, or the Kinneret, which is the local name for the lake. So this is where a very exciting place, a place where Jesus walked on the water, a place where his ministry opened up. At the other end of the lake is Capernaum, right over my shoulder, straight up the lake. Mount Hermon right in the north, over my shoulder, and of course into Syria and into Lebanon. I felt like the Lord wanted me to do a few of these videos for you to pass on to you what's happening and what we're doing on this journey. I'm just outside of a new radio station that started here this year in 2017, and it's VOHR, Voice of Hope Radio. And I felt like I should make this video from the lawn of this radio station with the Galilee in the background, because when I left Newfoundland to come over, and some of you know, I don't always know until I know. And that's a pretty difficult way to travel sometimes, but it's the journey of faith. And so I just wanted to bring to you a short message today from Galilee. And that message comes from Isaiah 9. Before I left Newfoundland and came to Israel on this trip, and as some of you know, I come fairly often to Israel, not often as some do, and the Lord sends me here on various missions. And this time there's several things that I'm covering in prayer and in intercession. And for those of you who are watching, those of you who intercede with me, I mean, I can't do this without you, and you can't do it without me. We all need each other, don't we? Yes, we do. And yesterday we were on the Mount of Olives, and we did church there with the manager of the radio station here. He oversees that church and pastors it. And we just had an extraordinary service of people from all over who were sharing their gift of music and preaching and teaching and moving forward. And before I came on this trip, I was asking the Lord about it, and this may have seemed, like too obvious. Like sometimes you say, well, we got to press in so hard to hear from God. I don't believe that's true all the time. I think God speaks to us. The Father speaks to us very clearly and very quickly even at times, but we miss it because there's too much background noise going on in our hearts. And I've been here to the Galilee a number of times and enjoy every time I'm here. It's one of my favorite places in Israel. Of course, being the background of a fisherman and my family fishermen, it is close to my heart and in the Gospels. But anyway, before I came on this trip, and I didn't know the extent of the radio station that Gary Hall is the manager here, and I didn't know the extent of the ministry they had stepped into here, that this was being broadcast not just in the Middle East, but through the internet worldwide. And I'm emphasizing that today because it's important that you pray for such ministries. This is a legitimate ministry, a legitimate thing from the Lord. So when I was coming, I read Isaiah 9, but before Isaiah 9, the Lord was calling Israel and telling them to trust in the Lord. And don't be afraid to trust in the Lord, because they were going to go through a lot of discipline. But then he said in Isaiah 9, it says, hope in the Messiah. He says, nevertheless, that time of darkness and despair will not go on forever. The land of Zebulun and Naphtali will soon be humbled, but there will be a time in the future. This is that future, when Galilee of the Gentiles, which lies along the road that runs between the Jordan and the sea, will be filled with glory. The people who walk in darkness will see a great light, a light that will shine on all who live in the land. Where death casts its shadow, Israel again will be great. And no greater light has come out of Galilee than the light of the Messiah, than the light of Jesus Christ. He is the light of the world. And 2,000 years ago, or thereabouts, he came here, he started the ministry to bring in the new covenant and to perform extraordinary miracles. And Peter, the apostle, the fisherman, he walked on this lake that night and sank into the water. But the Lord says a great light, Galilee would see, a great light come out of darkness. And this radio station that I'm standing in front of here, it's behind the camera, is sending out that great light. There's several employees here, DJs, that are trying to get this message out to the Middle Eastern world and to beyond, because it can be picked up on the internet around the world. But my main focus is, remember that we have to know where our Galilee is. We don't have to be here to be in close union with Christ, in close union with the Messiah. We don't have to be in Israel. We don't have to be in Jerusalem. Jesus said that it don't matter where you worship Him, as long as you worship Him in spirit and in truth. That's what the important thing was. When He said to the woman, He said to her, she said, well, they say we should only be able to worship up in Jerusalem, or you Jews. And He corrected her. He said, a day is coming, He said, when I will seek those who worship Me in spirit and in truth. And so I'm putting that to you. Is there a great light coming out of us? Is the Galilee, is the great fisherman, Jesus Christ, is the light of the world in us, working through us, through the joy of the Lord and the peace of the Lord? Can't you just picture it? You know, these fishermen that were called here along these shores, these young men who said, yes, let's go and die with Jesus, let's go. And it says they turned the world upside down. You know, we can each turn the world upside down in our neighborhood or wherever we are. Since I came here to Israel, this funny thing is that I've been getting prayer requests from back home, serious prayer requests for healing. But here I am on the Mount of Olives, you know, sharing music. Here I am in the Galilee, in Israel. And so God is up to some tremendous things. And He's even using the media to bring that forth. Yeah, I know there's a lot of bad things about media, and I struggle with it personally myself. However, light can come, and the voice of the Lord can go out over the airwaves of the world. So I'm excited to be here at Galilee. And I want to remind you that that light that went out from Galilee, that prophecy says in the future, a light will come out of Galilee. Now this was before Jesus was born, of course, this prophecy, and He was that light. And He still is that light. And He expects us, He not expects, He wants us to not only embrace that light, but to shine forth that light. To be able to see like we've never seen before, and to release that light. In His Word, He said He wouldn't light us up and then put a lampshade over us to cover that light. He sets us on a hill. In other words, He lets us go out there, outside. You know, the whole world can't come to Galilee and try to find Jesus. Jesus is wherever you are, and wherever you need Him, He's there. All you have to do is call upon Him for your salvation, for your healing, for your deliverance. Jesus doesn't just save us from the sins of the world. He heals us. He delivers us. He gives us joy. We live an extraordinary life with the joy of the Lord overflowing in us, to be filled to overflowing. Jesus Christ is alive and well, and there is life after death. And He wants us to be ready for that. But He also wants us to live our lives in this world, in this day. Where is the Galilee where you'll meet that great Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach, you know, the Messiah? Where will you meet Him, and where will you be able to let that light shine? They're doing a work here to radio, broadcasting to the nations, and so each of us has a piece to play, a portion to play. And I want you to remember this ministry and these people in your prayers, because as you can imagine, the brighter the light, the bigger the target. And so I encourage each and every one of us to just search our own lives today. And yes, it's very romantic to be here. It's exciting. It's tremendous to be in Israel, to be at the Galilee. But I have been with Jesus. No matter where I have been in the world, His presence comes. His glory is with me. His glory is upon me and is with me wherever I go. But I feel the Lord wants you to have this visual, this reminder that the light of the world is still shining His light forth from Galilee. And this is a very prophetic sign, this radio station that is broadcasting to the nations of the world and bringing light to a dark, dark world. That out of Galilee, once again, is coming great light. know, Jesus, he lived and carried that light one day at a time. He never, you know, you never knew where he was going to show up next. His schedule was every day, one day at a time. Now, of course, some of us are into schedules. There's nothing wrong with that. And some of us have been called to walk one day at a time in a way that is different from others. We don't know where we're going to go fishing from day to day, and we don't know about tomorrow. But I know this much, that when Peter cried out to Jesus, when Peter cried out to him when he sank on this lake in the water, at least he got out of the boat. I love Peter. I relate to him quite a bit. And he did get out of the boat. Nobody else was so passionate that wanted to get out and do what Jesus wanted them to do as he was. And he didn't mind making those blunders. We sort of pick on him sometimes, I think, to show our weaknesses. But Peter, I like Peter's, even though his zeal was misdirected sometimes, I like him. And I like that he got out of the boat. I like that he was so ready to cut the ears off even though the Lord healed it again. So, I hope to see that zeal. Well, we don't know about tomorrow for sure, do we? The exact details. But Jesus got us by the hand, just like he took Peter by the hand and lifted him out of the water. I don't know about tomorrow. I just live from day to day. I don't borrow from its sunshine, for the clouds may turn to gray. I don't worry o'er the future, 'cause I know what Jesus said. And today I'll walk beside him, 'cause he knows what lies ahead. Many things about tomorrow I don't seem to understand, but I know who holds tomorrow, and I know who holds my hand. Many things about tomorrow I don't seem to understand, but I know who holds tomorrow, and I know who holds my hand. Jesus has you by the hand, and he won't let go if you don't let go. And he'll pull us up out of some unusual situations. The good news is the light continues to shine forth from Galilee. May God's richest blessings be upon you. The blessing of salvation, the blessing of his presence, the blessing of his joy. We may not know about tomorrow. Jesus does, so stay close to him. Amen. And God bless from the Sea of Galilee in Israel.